I never thought one moment could change everything I knew about my family, but it did. It was a regular Saturday afternoon, the kind where nothing big is supposed to happen. My dad had gone out to run errands, or so we thought. My mom and I were at home, each doing our own thing, just another quiet day. But what happened next still plays in my head, like it happened yesterday. The sound of the front door opening wasn't supposed to come that early. I remember the way the air shifted, heavy and tense, like something wasn't right. My dad walked in, and he saw something he wasn't meant to see. I didn't fully understand what was happening at first, but I saw it on his face. The hurt, the confusion, the disbelief. Everything stopped. My heart pounded as the silence stretched on, and then came the words that would break everything apart. That was the day the truth came out, a truth none of us were ready for. I had always looked up to my parents, trusted what I saw. But in a split second, everything changed. What he saw that day, and what followed, none of us were prepared for. Growing up, I thought my family was solid. My parents laughed a lot, held hands in public, and celebrated every birthday like it was a big deal. Sure, they argued sometimes, but nothing ever seemed serious. So, when my dad stood frozen in the doorway that day, eyes locked on something I couldn't yet see, it didn't make sense. At first, I thought maybe he was sick or something had happened outside. But then I followed his gaze, and everything around me started to shift. There was someone else in the house, a man I didn't recognize, and he wasn't standing far from my mom. The tension in the room was thick, like no one could breathe. My mom's face turned pale, her mouth opening but no words coming out. My dad's expression hardened, but he didn't yell. He just stared, like he was trying to convince himself he wasn't seeing what he clearly was. I stood there, stuck between them, confused and scared. This wasn't just a bad moment. It felt like a secret that had been building for a long time, finally crashing into the open. And none of us knew what to say or what would happen next. My dad didn't say a word. He just turned around and walked out, slamming the door behind him. That sound still rings in my ears. My mom tried to explain, but her voice was shaking. She said it wasn't what it looked like, but it was. I could see it in her eyes. The man awkwardly stepped back, clearly realizing he shouldn't be there. He didn't even look at me. He just grabbed his things and left, like he couldn't get out fast enough. The house suddenly felt like a stranger's place. My mom sat down on the edge of the couch, holding her head in her hands, breathing hard like she'd just run a mile. I wanted to ask a million questions, but none of them came out. I was torn, angry, shocked, and confused all at once. The betrayal didn't just hit my dad, it hit me too. And in that moment, I realized everything was about to fall apart. That night was the longest of my life. My dad didn't come home. My mom barely moved from the couch, just staring at the floor like everything around her had stopped. I sat in my room, waiting to hear the front door, but it never opened. My phone stayed silent. No calls, no messages, just a heavy silence pressing in from all sides. The next morning, I found my mom in the kitchen, trying to act normal, making coffee, staring blankly out the window. I asked where Dad was. She said she didn't know. That scared me more than anything. He never just disappeared. I couldn't stop thinking about the look on his face when he saw them. That kind of pain doesn't just go away. By the afternoon, my dad still hadn't come back. But then, I heard his car pull into the driveway. My heart dropped. I didn't know what he was walking back into or what he was about to say. I rushed to the window as my dad stepped out of the car. But he wasn't alone. A woman was with him. I didn't recognize her. She looked nervous, kept glancing at the house, like she wasn't sure she should be there. My mom came into the hallway just as the front door opened. The moment their eyes met, everything froze again. The silence was louder than any argument. My dad didn't yell. He didn't cry. He simply said, "We need to talk. All of us." His voice was calm, but there was something behind it, something final. My mom's face changed instantly, like she already knew what was coming. But before anyone could speak, the woman beside my dad stepped forward and called my mom by name. That's when I realized this wasn't a stranger. They knew each other, and whatever history they had, it wasn't over. This wasn't just about infidelity anymore. It was something deeper, something none of us saw coming. My mom didn't say a word at first. Her face went pale as the woman stood there, looking straight at her. My dad looked between them, waiting, like he already knew the truth, but needed to hear it out loud. And then it came, words I never expected to hear. "I'm not just someone he met recently," the woman said. "You know that." My mom's hands started to shake. "You were my friend, years ago." Turns out, this wasn't just about my mom cheating. My dad had known something was off for a while. After finding messages and signs she tried to hide, he started digging. And what he found led him to her. The woman wasn't just a friend from the past. She had once been caught in the middle of something between my parents, long before I ever knew. My dad hadn't brought her to hurt anyone. He brought her to end the lies. Everything spilled out that day. My mom's affair wasn't her first. And now, there were no more secrets left to hide. But just when I thought it was over, the woman looked at me and said something that still haunts me. "There's something else you need to know." The room went still. I looked at the woman, heart racing, unsure if I wanted to hear what came next. She hesitated, then finally said, "You were just a baby when it happened. But I think I'm your aunt." My breath caught. My mind couldn't even process it. My mom looked away, tears in her eyes. My dad just sighed, like he had been carrying that truth for too long. After the shock wore off, everything started to make more sense. Years ago, there had been a falling out between my mom and her sister, this woman, over a similar situation. They'd cut ties, buried the past, and pretended it never happened. But history had repeated itself, and now the truth was finally out. In the days that followed, my dad packed his things and left. Not out of anger, but because he needed peace. My mom stayed quiet, mostly keeping to herself, and I was left trying to piece it all together. Family, betrayal, and secrets that had been hidden for years. I learned that trust, once broken, doesn't heal overnight. And sometimes the truth doesn't just hurt, it changes everything. But it also frees you. That day, our family broke apart. But maybe it was the first step to something real.